Welcome to our reflection for Tuesday of the second week of Advent. We also have the optional memorial of Saint Juan Diego today. Our first reading from Isaiah continues in the beautiful trend that we have been seeing of God restoring his people, bringing them back where they're called to be in right relationship, getting rid of the difficulties of this life. It's a beautiful image. It's one that I think many of us will recognize. There have been hymns that have been set to some of these words, and beautiful thing for us to pray with. It starts with speak tenderly to Jerusalem and proclaim to her that her service is at an end, her guilt is expiated. Indeed, she has received from the hand of the Lord double for all her sins. Israel, of course, is God's people, or Jerusalem is where God's people worship. That's where they go to encounter God. But Jerusalem also points to the church for the fulfillment. We can also see that as a representation for each one of us, because it's in Jerusalem that we go to encounter God, we go to worship God. We are meant to offer our life as a sacrifice to God, and so it ties into that area. And so we see that, again, Isaiah, time of exile, because of sin, that God is going to restore them, that there will be a time where the debt is paid. And so it's beautiful for us to remember that in the difficulties of this life, as we look to what comes after this life, if we end up in purgatory, that will be a time of purification, but it will come to an end and we will be able to be restored. And look at how God's generosity flows. She has received from the hand of the Lord double for all her sins. Right? In the end, God restores all things. His generosity comes to take care of us, although we do have to go through that period of purification. The second part goes into a voice cries out in the desert, prepare the way of the Lord, make straight in the wasteland a highway for our God, every valley filled, every mountain made low. Anybody who's driven through Colorado know how windy and long and difficult those roads can be. Imagine having to traverse that on foot with a family, taking animals, your possessions. Right? So it's a beautiful image for us to try to enter into of what this hope is. And then our gospel is the beautiful one of the lost sheep. Man has 100 sheep, one of them goes astray. Will you not leave the 99 in the hills and go in search of them? No, he wouldn't, because that's ridiculous. But yet that's how God loves us. It is a ridiculous type of love. And with these things in mind of the restoration of the healing of God coming in search of the ones who are lost, as we celebrate Juan Diego today, it's a beautiful time to remember how our Blessed Mother did that, how God sent her to be a vehicle for grace for us. You can look up the story, it's a beautiful one. But Juan Diego, by worldly standards, as God tends to choose, is a nobody. Our Blessed Mother asks him to go to the bishop, ask for a church to be built. He's reluctant, eventually goes. The bishop eventually wants a sign. And Juan Diego goes and gets Castilian roses, which would not have been in that area to begin with. They're from Spain, not Mexico. It's where the bishop is from. And so it's our mother meeting the bishop right where he's at in his own struggle, but also pursuit to receive this message. And then also, it's middle of winter, not a time that even if the roses were there, that they would have been blooming. And so he grabs them, puts them in his tilma, and of course, when he opens it up, the bishop said to have gone down to his knees, not because of the roses, but because of the image of our mother there. And it ties in beautifully to imagery in the book of Revelation, the fact that she's pregnant, that's a blending of the cultures, a lot of beautiful things that come in the midst of this. I encourage maybe spending some time looking at the story of Juan Diego, and of course, in a few days, we'll celebrate the Feast of Our Lady Guadalupe. And so maybe keeping that in the back of our mind and our heart the next couple of days. God bless.